So Robin, what a joy and an honor to interview you.
Thank you, Katie.
You are a very familiar face to me growing up, and I feel like having you here in Central Ohio to talk about wellness and health, it has to be huge for people here. You know, you have worked your whole platform talking about your own journey, and that's really how people, I feel like, have connected to you. So what does it mean to keep talking about, you know, what you've been through with battling cancer twice?
My mama said, make your mess your message. Everybody's got something. For me, it was cancer twice. Other people, it could be unemployment, divorce. Everybody's got something. And that's not the tragedy. It's if you don't take the time to understand why it was placed in your path, what you can learn from it, and more importantly, what you can share. And I love this forum to be able to talk about mental wellness and well-being. And we don't talk about that. We always talk about the physical aspects of being well, but there's a lot going on in this country and in this world, and it really takes a toll. And so to be able to come to here where, you know, as I told you, my mama grew up in Akron. I spent many of my childhood at Grandma Sally's on Lucy Street in Akron, Ohio. And I'm just so grateful to be able to come here and to have a conversation. I'm not lecturing anybody.
Right.
It's having a conversation.
And that's what works, I think, conversations, you know,
Dialogue.
And sharing things. And speaking of that, you know, talking about whatever's placed in your path, you know, whether it's cancer twice or, you know, homelessness or whatever people are going through, divorce, what makes you keep doing your job, keep connecting with people? What made you keep getting up every morning and doing what you're called to do?
Oh my gosh, that is such a, you know, sometimes I get weary, like we all do. And then I stop and I think about what a privilege it is to be a messenger. And I feel that I'm a messenger, that this too shall pass, whatever it is that you've gone through. My hometown was wiped out after Hurricane Katrina 20 years ago, and to be on national television crying, an ugly cry, not a cute cry, but crying with the heartache. And it wasn't just because of my hometown, but knowing people were in a similar situation. And to be able to take that when I cover the fires out in LA or the flooding down south, the flooding that took place in Texas, because I've gone through this, I'm able to have empathy, and it's really to, but it does, I have my bad days just like everybody else. And my mama taught me something though, Katie, that was very, very helpful. When you're having a bad day, go to bed. Don't stay up. She used to say that, like, if you're having a bad day, why are you staying up? Go to bed, because there's something about the dawn of a new day that you feel like, okay, I can tackle what's ahead of me now.
And taking one day at a time.
Yeah, absolutely.
When everything seems like it's too much, and looking ahead, it's a lot sometimes to look a week, 6 months, or whatever. So let's talk a little bit about, I mean, people know your story, you know, having breast cancer and then having MDS. When you kind of dealt with this back to back, I mean, I know there's 5 years, right, in between, but when you got that second diagnosis, did you just have anything in you thinking, why me? Why did this happen again?
I got mad. And I'm a very spiritual person, and my mom was like, that's okay, just don't stay mad at him.
Right.
But there was never, when people say why me, why anybody? Why, you know, if I wouldn't want it on for anybody else to take it on. But I will have to say, the second time around, I'm like, really? I got my lesson the first time, but I learned so much about my illness, MDS, myelodysplastic syndrome, and the need for a bone marrow transplant. Had never heard of it, and was able to actually educate the public about how it can potentially cure countless conditions like leukemia, sickle cell anemia, and it goes on and on and on. So I was like, oh, that's why it was placed in my path. So once I had that message, then I was I was better about taking it on. But to be honest, at first I was just like, I was tired. But I'm just so grateful I've been able to, with my sister who was my donor, be able to increase the registry and to get the word out about the need to have more people of all walks of life join the registry.
What about the moment when you found out your sister was willing to do that for you and could do that for you?
Oh, my sister Sally Ann, she's 8 years older than I am. We never got along as kids, but we got along as we got older. But I remember, Katie, I have 3 other siblings, and 2 were automatically disqualified. And Sally was the last choice. And it came back that she was a donor, that she was a match. Mm-hmm. And I remember going to her and calling her and saying, Sally Ann, you're a match. Do you want to be my donor? And she said, not only do I want to do it, I feel that I was born. That was the reason that she was here, to save her baby sister. So when you have that kind of love in your family, mm-hmm. because there are many times people join the registry and with all the good intentions, and then they get the call and they
get cold feet.
They get cold feet, and I had to give her an out, and for her to not only want to do it, but to embrace it as she did, and to take on this mission with me to get the word out about joining the registry. So we're pretty tight.
I was going to say, sounds like it.
I know, now I have her allergies. You actually take on the DNA
wow.
of the yes, I know. I have her sweet tooth. I never had a sweet tooth before.
That is wild.
But I actually have her DNA, and so I have some of the things that she has, but it's a small price to pay.
But in being able to talk about just how significant it is to be a donor, also with breast cancer, we're in Breast Cancer Awareness Month right now. Obviously, we talk about knowing your body, knowing how to early detect. As women, we tend to think we know a lot about our bodies, and we end up finding out that we don't. So what is one of the biggest messages to women out there that watch you, know what you've gone through, about taking care of themselves?
I found my lump. Because I did a regular self-exam, and I felt a lump, and I had felt lumps before, but this one felt different. And I remember I had just lost a colleague to cancer, and I did a story that day about how had he gotten a colonoscopy at the age of 50 instead of 53, Joel Siegel, that he would still be with us. But now he got the message out to people about the need for early detection and knowing your body. And that very night that I did that story, I was stretching and I felt a lump, and I was like, oh. And I had a doctor's appointment for months down the road. Right. And I'm like, I need to move it up. And I did that, and I'm glad that I did, because it was determined that I had breast cancer. But had I not been checking on a regular basis, had I not known my body and knew that lump was different from what I had felt before. So that's what I say. And it's like when people say, don't you want to know as early as possible? Don't you want to give yourself the best? And there's no guarantee, even with early detection, but boy, it increases the likelihood of survivorship.
Well, and being so open about everything you've gone through, and having the gift of gab, as I say, that's what we do for a living. Right. What do you feel like starting to get responses from people that are resonating with what you're talking about with donor information, your story with your sister, or the early detection? I mean, how does it feel to know that people are really taking in what you're saying and it's changing how they're doing something? Oh
my gosh, you know what, Katie? I was leaving the studio this morning, and we have a security team. Mm-hmm. And this gentleman named Paul, he was walking me out, and he's worked with us since 2017. And I don't even know how we got into the conversation. I'm rushing out because I got to get here to New Albany. And he told me something, he was fasting or whatever. I'm like, oh, and I stopped him and we were talking about it. And he said, you know what, you've motivated. He was talking about how he's listened to me over the years and how things that I've said have resonated with him. I had no idea.
Right.
And so that's what is so important. You never, ever, it doesn't matter if you're on national TV, you're a teacher, I don't care, any capacity in life. You never know who's listening. You never know the people that you are reaching. And I am so grateful that people take the time to acknowledge when we've made a difference in people's life. People, wake up and they say, you, Katie, you have no idea.
And people like Paul, who was right under your nose the whole time, and you had no idea.
But I tell you what, I needed to come. It was like I say, it's a God wink, because it's when you're a little bit tired and and then someone says something like that, and it just means the world.
I feel like it's a God wink. Like there's ways that things happen that re-energize you, when you're kind of starting to hit E a little bit. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to be talking about this evening, and why is this something that you decided that you wanted to do?
I love community. And I love it when community is not an idea, but it's a living, breathing thing. And here in New Albany, with the foundation here, celebrating the 30th year, and the initiatives that they're a part of, and the grants that they provide. And I just can, and coming in, there were a couple of women who were, it wasn't 5 o'clock yet, but they were enjoying themselves.
They're probably like, what is Robin doing here?
No, but they were like, they said, hey, I'll see you this evening, and that we're going to have a conversation. And I just love the fact that they have this series and they bring different people in from different walks of life, and that we're talking about well-being. Right. We're talking about things that we can, there's so many things that we can't control in our lives, but those things that we can, and to choose joy. And for those folks that are choosing to spend time together today with me, means everything. I never take that for granted, never will.
Thank you for watching the WSYX YouTube channel.
Bringing you breaking news, stories, weather, and original content throughout Central Ohio.
Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out.
And start your mornings right with Good Day Columbus.